If anyone would have told me that when I woke up yesterday morning, that I'd end the day with the woman I'd been making myself sick over missing, comfortably enveloped in my arms, in my bed, I would have called them 50 flavors of liar. But as I laid here watching the even rising and falling of her chest, hearing the slight snore she emitted on every third exhalation, I felt luckier than I deserved. I let her go, and she came back. Most expensive hospital diagnosis for persons over age 65. Contemporary therapy not only embraces the heart as a failing pump, but also addresses the circulating chemical abnormalities that cause the heart muscle to deteriorate.
Okay, Andre, keep coming closer, but you and your friend ignore Zeus as you approach, he tells me. We get closer and Damien does some wizard magic to get Zeus to sit. I say hi to him and Janelle and introduce my sister. I'll be an official dog sitter, so I thought I'd come along, Ava adds, her voice wobbling a bit. Great, she's crushing on Damien. Great, so first thing you have to remember, you're always training Zeus. Right now, we're going to teach him that he doesn't get any attention until he's calm. Damien goes on, explaining everything he's going to try to do in our sessions with him, and then he hands me the leash.
Because Professor Sullivan denigrated my scholarly treatise in front of his class.
Denigrate is a strong word, said Provost Fringe.
And accurate, according to my sources, replied Grumph. Professor Sullivan described my work using the words, and I quote, piffle, tripe, baloney, and risible. Do you deny that, Professor Sullivan?
Henry opened his mouth to issue a firm denial, but Dean Grumph stopped him.
Before you say anything, Professor, I should tell you that I have it all recorded on an audio file.
Henry quickly changed tack. Firstly, Dean Grumph, I can see how those words might be interpreted as negative, but personally, I love both tripe and bologna. A bologna sandwich is the greatest, most American of lunchtime treats. And tripe? The edible lining of a farm animal's stomach? What's not delicious about that? And as for risible, well, that comes from the Latin ridere, which is to laugh. Who doesn't love to laugh? So you see, it really is a big misunderstanding. Not 5 feet behind them, dressed in the flyest, coolest taupe suit you ever saw, was the one, the only, Barack Hussein Obama, the last real president of the United States of America, as of this writing. You know when you watch a sitcom with a television audience, then a really big movie star walks into the scene as a guest star, then when he or she does, you get like 20 to 30 seconds of the audience cheering and applauding? Think Brad Pitt guest starring on Friends. Well, that's kind of what this moment felt like, except there was no audience. Once the president reaches my seat, he whispers to the other agents and motions them to leave. The head agent gestures to the other men, and they exit the building. Obama, mind if I have a seat? Me, no, of course not. Please, sit down, Mr. President. Of all the encounters I've had, this one by far is the most surprising. Chapter 6. Awaken a Better Physical You. In 2013, I was at a conference when my mother called me, sobbing, with the news of my father's unexpected death. He was only 53. I remember the shock of that day. Apart from the natural grief of a son for a beloved father, I was further shaken because he hadn't even been sick. Yes, he'd used tobacco products, worked long hours, drank energy drinks to stay awake, and ate fast food. But since he'd never been seriously ill, didn't use drugs, and wasn't overweight, we all thought he was fine. But his body and heart couldn't take it anymore. My dad had been malnourished. Even though he lived in these United States of America in the 21st century and had eaten 3 meals a day, his body didn't have the nutrients it needed to survive.
London Lawrence. Born in Houston, Texas, currently lives in Austin, Texas. I feel most powerful when we are connected, when we are one, and when we are recognized for all that we exude. Something that's very interesting is that oftentimes we're talking as if there's only one of us that can sit at the table when, in reality, we can all sit at the table. And sometimes we forget as we journey through this thing called life that we can pull up the chair and allow our brothers and allow our sisters to sit at the table with us and feel most powerful when we are connected, when we are celebrated, when we are in our truth, when we are in our bag, okay, that metaphoric bag of being able to be accepted for all that we are, for our flying and for our individuality, for our strength, our beauty, for our undeniable ability to continue to exist. When I see you and you see me, I feel powerful. I feel celebrated. I feel loved.